Hi class. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to use some of the files we created in Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop to create a brochure in InDesign. And it's going to look like this. Now if you don't have this font, that's not a big deal. You can choose a font that you like. And so that's the one part of it. Okay, and this is the second part, which consists of an inside spread. So it's going to be a trifold brochure. Okay. And so what we're going to do, all right, is we're going to follow some of our good practices like we learned earlier, okay? And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up a folder called brochure, okay? And we're going to put subfolders in called fonts, images, and text, okay? So that's definitely something that you should do, all right? Another thing that's great to have when you're starting a project to do layout and design is make sure you have the text from the client that's already approved. So it doesn't have to be formatted like this. I personally tend to like to do some formatting so it's easy to copy and paste text into InDesign from Microsoft Word. But definitely you should have approved text from the client so that they're not constantly rewriting the text while you're designing the brochure. Okay, so in this case we have approved copy from the client. Okay, so I'll use the terms copy and text somewhat interchangeably in the sense of designing the brochure. Okay, and then of course we also have our InDesign design. So let's go ahead and we'll close this. All right, and we'll get started. We'll say yes to those changes, okay? And we'll go ahead and get started with a new project, okay? All right, so this is of course a project for print, and it's a little different than the coupon project that you just did because it is going to include what's called a bleed. And that's where the type goes off of, the type, or not the type, the graphics can kind of bleed off the edge of the page, and a printer would kind of normally then trim the oversized piece of paper that it was printed on down into a smaller size. So we're going to choose inches. 8.5 by 11 is a good size. We'll choose orientation of landscape. We're going to turn off facing pages. This is going to be 2 pages. Okay, it'll start on number 1. Okay, for columns, we want 3 columns. Okay, and we want a gutter, which is the space in between the columns, of 1/2 inch. Okay, and then what we want is margins that are 1/4 inch. All right, let's also make a bleed of 1/8 inch, which is 0.125 inches. Okay, we'll say create to that. It'll just take a moment to make our design. Okay, and so there we go. You can see that this is a bleed area of 1/8 inch all the way around the paper. Okay. You can see that we have our columns, okay? 1, 2, 3 for our 3-part brochure, okay? And we also have these areas, which are the gutters, okay? The first thing that I'm going to do is I'd like to put in where my fold should go, all right? So I'm going to drag them in, and you can see that they snap to the exact center of the gutter. Okay, so we're going to put some guides in right there in the middle of those gutters. Okay, and that shows us where our fold is going to be. Okay, now what we'd like to do is we'd like to start getting some of the elements of our design into this design. Okay,